The chaos started in the stands, not on the court. Alicia Gray turned toward the crowd, pointed with urgency, and within seconds, security rushed in. Fans were confused. Ushers moved in, and a couple was escorted away from their seats. On television, the cameras cut quickly, leaving viewers with more questions than answers. It looked serious, like something had been said so out of line it demanded immediate action. But the truth unraveled fast, and by the end of the night, it wasn't the Indiana Fever or their fans who looked rattled. It was Alicia Gray and the Atlanta Dream. Gray's gesture seemed calculated, an attempt to shift the narrative during a night when nothing was going Atlanta's way. Reports after the game contradicted one another. Some hinted at inappropriate heckling, others said it was nothing more than a fan shouting encouragement to Lexi Hull, telling her, "You're good, Lex. She's not even trying anymore." A standard piece of sports chatter, harmless, hardly worthy of an ejection. Security later admitted the fans had said nothing offensive and allowed them back into their seats. By then, though, the damage was done. The moment had been broadcast live, the implication made, and the focus shifted, even briefly, away from the scoreboard. And that's exactly what frustrated Fever supporters. Once again, players had been given the power to remove paying fans over routine game day chatter. Once again, the story left the WNBA under a microscope. Why were spectators being tossed out when attendance had already been suffering? Why lean on flimsy narratives when the numbers were brutal? Without Caitlin Clark, viewership was slashed in half, a 50% drop for the playoffs. Instead of nurturing the fans who still showed up, the league seemed intent on alienating them. For many, Gray's actions became the perfect symbol of a larger problem. Athletes unable to handle criticism, teams grasping for excuses, and a league unwilling to confront its own shortcomings. The irony is that the whole saga backfired. While Atlanta looked petty, Indiana looked powerful. While Gray argued with the crowd, the Fever went to work on the court. They weren't worried about distractions. They were busy snapping a playoff drought that stretched back nearly a decade, playing in front of a home crowd that refused to be silenced. Game 2 wasn't just about evening the series. It was about reclaiming an identity, about proving resilience in the face of missing stars, and about showing that toughness still matters more than theatrics. The build-up to the night carried weight. This was Indiana's first home playoff game since 2016. Gainbridge Fieldhouse buzzed with energy before tip-off, red shirts filling the lower bowl, fans chanting, cheering, and waiting for a release after years of frustration. Stephanie White, who once patrolled the sideline during the Tamika Catchings era, was now coaching against her former team, reminding everyone in the shoot-around that desperation wasn't optional. She wanted urgency in every possession, commitment on every rebound, fire in every rotation. After the disappointing effort in Game 1, her message hit like a command. And her players responded. From the opening tip, Indiana controlled the tempo. They defended with purpose, forcing Atlanta into contested jumpers and bad shots. The Dream opened the night cold and never recovered, shooting under 40% and finishing just 5 for 19 from deep. Every drive was met with resistance. Every possession pushed them further from rhythm. Ryan Howard, usually Atlanta's anchor, was hounded into frustration, while Gray herself was locked down by Lexi Hull, who refused to let her find space. The scoreboard told the story, 77-60. The Fever suffocated the Dream until there was nothing left but excuses. Kelsey Mitchell carried the offensive load with confidence. She poured in 19 points, knocking down 4 threes that felt like daggers. Whenever Atlanta tried to inch back, Mitchell answered with precision. Aaliyah Boston did her work inside, scoring 15 points with steady rebounding and assists that turned double teams into opportunities. Natasha Howard added toughness in the paint, finishing with 12 points and crucial defensive plays. Even rookie Michaela Timpson made her mark, scoring 9 points in limited minutes, showing poise that belied her inexperience. But the moment that sealed it came at the end of the third quarter. Boston muscled her way to a basket, then Shaw Petty stole the ball, flipping momentum instantly. With the crowd already on its feet, Lexi Hull launched a 3 at the buzzer. It splashed through the net, the building erupted, and the game was effectively over. What had been a manageable deficit for Atlanta turned into a double-digit wall they couldn't climb. That single sequence crushed their spirit, while Indiana soared into the fourth with confidence. The Fever didn't just win, they dominated. They never trailed. They never let Atlanta dictate. For the first time since 2002, Indiana controlled a playoff game from start to finish without surrendering the lead. Afterward, players talked about the defense being a masterclass, about discipline, about resilience. Boston credited the hustle moments. Mitchell pointed to the energy of the crowd. And Stephanie White praised her team for responding to adversity with the kind of toughness that had been missing in Game 1. Meanwhile, Alicia Gray's controversy with the fans looked smaller and smaller. By the end of the night, it was clear that nothing serious had been said, nothing worth the scene that unfolded. The fans came back. The narrative collapsed. And instead of sympathy, the dream faced ridicule. Social media lit up with mockery, branding it another hoax, another weak attempt to dodge accountability for poor play. For Gray, the story stuck in all the wrong ways. For the Fever, it barely mattered. They had made history, and they had the scoreboard to prove it. Now the series moves to Atlanta for a decisive Game 3. The stakes couldn't be higher. Win and Indiana advances to face either Seattle or Las Vegas, cementing one of the most inspiring turnarounds in franchise history. Lose, and all the resilience, all the progress ends abruptly. Atlanta will be desperate, and desperation is dangerous. They'll feed off their home crowd, push tempo, and test Indiana's short-handed roster. But the Fever have already shown they can win without Caitlin Clark, without Sophie Cunningham, without multiple key rotation players. They've already proven that belief, energy, and unity can outweigh adversity. The deciding factor will be whether Indiana can bring the same suffocating defense on the road. Limiting Howard and Gray to just 19 combined points was the blueprint. Sticking to that game plan in enemy territory will be the challenge. Mitchell's shooting, Boston's dominance inside, and Hull's disruptive defense will be critical. Timpson's spark could once again shift momentum, and Natasha Howard's grit will be non-negotiable. In a one-game elimination, every detail matters. As the Fever prepare for battle, one truth lingers. Alicia Gray's gesture and the fan controversy won't be remembered as the defining moment of this series. The defining moment will be whether Indiana seizes this chance to break through, whether they turn one historic win into two, rewriting their reputation and carrying themselves further into the postseason than anyone believed possible. Because when the lights shine in Atlanta, all the noise will fade. The lies, the distractions, the excuses, they won't matter. The only thing that matters is who's ready, who's tougher, and who wants it more. So what do you think? Did Alicia Gray's meltdown expose more about the dream than the fans she tried to blame? And can Indiana finish the job in Game 3 to advance further than anyone expected? Drop your thoughts below, comment, "I've got the Fever" if you're riding with Indiana. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next chapter in this playoff story.